Have you ever looked at a company like Amazon or Netflix and just wondered, how do they do it? How are they always one step ahead? Well, I'm going to let you in on the secret. It's not magic. It's a powerful mix of brilliant strategy and incredibly smart technology. In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how modern businesses use information systems not just to play the game, but to win it.
And this image, this really says it all. The world of business today is basically a storm. You've got these market pressures swirling around like fierce global competition. Then you have technology pressures, this constant push to innovate. And of course, societal pressures, like new rules and regulations. But look, what's sitting right there in the middle, connecting everything? It's IT. Information technology isn't just a department in the basement anymore. It's the central nervous system of the entire company, helping it feel these pressures and respond in a smart, strategic way.
So, here's our game plan for today. First, we'll get the lay of the land, the business battleground. Then, we'll learn how to size up the competition with a really cool tool. After that, we'll reveal the modern secret weapon, information systems, and figure out how to pick the right strategy for the fight. And we'll wrap it all up by talking about the most crucial thing of all, making sure your business goals and your tech are in perfect sync. All right, let's jump in. Section 1, the business battleground. You can't win a battle if you don't understand the terrain. So let's take a closer look at these forces that are hitting every single company out there, from the tiny startup to the global giant. You can pretty much boil all those complex forces down into three main categories. You've got market pressures, which are all about the economy and your customers. Then there are the technology pressures, that constant need to keep up. And finally, the societal, political, and legal pressures, which are, all the rules and expectations from the world around you. Let's dig into each one. First up, market pressures. Globalization means your competition isn't just the shop down the road anymore. It could be a company halfway across the world. And at the exact same time, your customers have become incredibly powerful. Thanks to the internet, they can check prices with a few taps, and they demand better products, personalized service, and they want it all yesterday. The pressure from the market is just immense. And then you've got the technology pressures. This one is a real double-edged sword, isn't it? On one hand, new tech creates these amazing new possibilities. But on the other, it means that multi-million-dollar system you just installed could be ancient history by next year. And even worse, all this technology creates a tsunami of data. It's that feeling of information overload, right? You're drowning in spreadsheets and reports, but you can't find that one piece of information that actually matters. And finally, we have societal, political, and legal pressures. It's not enough to just make a profit anymore. Customers today expect companies to be good citizens, to be ethical, to be sustainable. Plus, governments are always adding new rules, like data privacy laws. This means companies are trying to navigate a total minefield of issues, from fending off cyber attacks to figuring out the very complex ethics of using things like artificial intelligence. So, with all this chaos coming from every direction, how does a business actually figure out where it stands? How do you cut through the noise? Well, that brings us to our next section, where we're going to introduce a truly brilliant framework called Porter's 5 Forces model. Now, this model, from the legendary strategist Michael Porter, is an absolute game changer for understanding any industry. His big idea was that competition isn't just about your obvious rivals. He said the health and profitability of your industry is really shaped by 5 key forces. You can see them here. The threat of new companies coming in, the power your suppliers have over you, the power your customers have, the threat from substitute products, and then, right there in the middle, the rivalry between all the existing players. So let's break these down one by one with some real-world examples. Force number 1, the threat of new entrants. Just think about it. If it's cheap and easy for a new company to start up in your industry, you are constantly at risk of being disrupted. The example here is just perfect. Online food delivery apps completely blindsided traditional restaurants. All of a sudden, these tech startups were in the game, changing everything. Force number 2 is the bargaining power of suppliers. Now, if there are only a handful of companies that provide a critical part you need, they hold a lot of the cards. They can jack up prices or control the supply. The classic case is the PC industry. For decades, computer makers have been at the mercy of the pricing and product cycles of the big chip makers, like Intel and AMD. And on the flip side of that coin, you have force number 3, the bargaining power of buyers. That's us, the customers. When we have a lot of different options to choose from, our power goes way up. We can demand better service, better quality, lower prices. Think about how easily you can switch your mobile phone provider if you're not happy. That is pure buyer power in action. Okay, now force number 4 is super important. The threat of substitute products. And let's be clear, a substitute is not just a different brand of the same thing. It's a completely different way to meet the same need. Cable TV companies weren't just fighting each other. They were completely sideswiped by a substitute. Streaming services like Netflix that delivered entertainment in a totally new and, for many people, better way. And that brings us to the final force, smack dab in the middle of the model, industry rivalry. This is the one we all think about first, right? The head-to-head competition. When this rivalry is intense, it leads to price wars, huge advertising budgets, and a frantic race to innovate, all of which can seriously eat into profits. The never-ending battle between Apple and Samsung in the smartphone world is probably the most famous example of this. Okay, so we've mapped the battleground, we've identified the 5 big forces trying to take a bite out of our profits. It can look pretty intense, but now we get to the good part, the solution. It's time to talk about every modern company's secret weapon, information systems, and how you can use them to fight back against every single one of those forces. So, how do you stop new competitors from stealing your lunch? You use information systems to build a moat around your business. You create barriers to entry. Take Amazon's recommendation engine. It knows you so well, it knows what you want to buy before you do. That creates such deep loyalty that the thought of starting fresh with a new website just feels like too much work. That's a powerful barrier. What about those powerful customers? You use IS to make it inconvenient for them to leave. We call this increasing their switching costs. A CRM system is a fantastic tool for this. It's basically a super smart database that remembers every single interaction you've had with a customer. It's like your favorite coffee shop remembering your exact order, but for millions of people. That level of personal service makes it really, really hard for a competitor to lure your customers away. And those powerful suppliers who try to call the shots? You use information systems to give yourself more options and take back the power. A modern supply chain system gives you this incredible God's eye view of your entire operation. And e-procurement platforms are like a global marketplace, letting you find and vet new suppliers from anywhere in the world almost instantly. This means no single supplier can ever hold you hostage. Now, to beat the threat of substitutes, you have to out-innovate them. And this is where information systems become the engine of innovation. I mean, look at Netflix again. They used their own data to see that streaming was the future, so they disrupted their own successful DVD business to get there first. By constantly adding new digital features and services, you can make your core product so good that substitutes just don't look as attractive. And finally, to win that head-to-head battle with your direct rivals, you need an intelligence advantage. And that's exactly what INS gives you. There are systems that can literally scan the web and social media to see what your competition is doing in real time. Then you can use powerful analytics and AI to fine-tune your own prices and marketing campaigns to outsmart them at every turn. So, you've analyzed the battlefield, and you have all these amazing technological weapons at your disposal. Now for the most important question. What's the plan? What kind of company are you going to be? Because a company that tries to be everything to everyone is a company that's going to fail. You have to choose your strategy. And really, it comes down to these 5 core strategies. You can be a cost leader, like Walmart, using tech to be the most efficient and offer the lowest prices. You can choose differentiation, like Apple, building a product so unique people will pay a premium for it. You could focus on innovation, like Tesla, always being on the cutting edge. You could aim for operational effectiveness, like Toyota, just building a better, more efficient system than anyone else. Or you could be intensely customer-oriented, like a 5-star hotel, where incredible service is your main weapon. The path you choose here defines absolutely everything else you do. Okay, on to our final and honestly most critical section. Because having a great business plan and having cool technology is not enough. Not if they aren't working in perfect harmony. The real holy grail, the ultimate goal, is achieving what we call business IT alignment. So, what does this perfect partnership actually look like? Well, first, the organization stops seeing the IT department as a cost center and starts seeing it as an engine for innovation and growth. Second, the entire company, from top to bottom, becomes completely obsessed with the customer. Third, leadership sets crystal clear goals, so the tech team isn't just building random stuff. They're building what the business actually needs to win. And finally, and this is a big one, the IT folks genuinely understand how the company makes money. They get the business so they can build tools that directly boost the bottom line. And that really brings us to our final thought for today. We've gone through the pressures, the competitive forces, the strategies, and the tools. They're all out there. So the real question isn't just about how to survive or how to keep up. It's about looking at this whole new landscape and asking yourself, in this world of nonstop change, how are you going to use technology not just to compete, but to completely and totally redefine the game?